up, sports fans? It's your man D back, Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. Alright, check it out, man. Tank Davis says he stopped Devin Haney in sparring. Sparred him twice. Stopped him the first time. Almost stopped him the second time. He want Ryan Garcia next. For the love of sports. Let's talk about it. So check it out, man. Tank Davis started to chatter a little more in interviews anyway. He had an interview with Boxing Scene and doing some chattering about these young guys, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo, Lopez, and Devin Haney, of course. Well, Tank Davis says he definitely wants the Ryan Garcia fight next. That's the fight he wants next. He said he's been telling Floyd and it'll be over and over again. That's what he wants. So, you know, Tank Davis, like I said, man, when Floyd Mayweather started carrying Haney around on the jet and dinners and riding through Vegas and stuff, that sparked some fire in Tank Davis. I'm telling you now. And Gervonta Davis on Sparring, Teofimo and Haney pushing for the fight with Ryan Garcia. This is from the Boxing Scene. If Gervonta Tank Davis has his way with his next fight, will be against fellow lightweight star Ryan Garcia. I'm pushing for it for sure, Davis told Boxing Scene in the interview. Everybody said they're on board with it, so it shouldn't be that hard to make. I just keep asking them over and over again, promoters Floyd Leonard Ellerby and Floyd Mayweather. I think Floyd wants the fight to happen, so it shouldn't be hard to make. Now, you know, that right there, I kind of question. I'm not too sure if Floyd Mayweather want that fight to happen. I'm not too sure because me personally, I believe that, I believe Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia is a really good fight. I believe Tank could be in some trouble in that fight. You know, of course, I expect Tank to win. And I'll probably do a breakdown later on that fight if it should happen. But I do expect Tank Davis to win. However, there's adversities in that fight. And that's the thing with Tank Davis and why I'm not so confident about this fight. Because I've never seen Tank face any type of adversity. You know, I've never seen Floyd put Tank in a position where he'll face adversity. So, I don't know. Whoa, damn, right, burn my shirt. Does Tank get into that fight or not? That's the question. Now, Tank goes on in the interview, and he says, you know, and actually Ryan Garcia said the fight versus Tank is the biggest fight to be made in the world this year, with the exception of Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Garcia told Boxing Scene. Make sure the pressure's on Tank Davis. He's out in 2 rounds. That's it. It's all she wrote. Ryan Garcia said that about Tank Davis, and I think we all remember when he said that. And so Tank Davis, you know, they said the 26-year-old Tank Davis, a southpaw from Baltimore, scoffed at Ryan's prediction. You gotta be on steroids or something if you think you knocking me out in 2 rounds, Davis said with a laugh. He's a kid with a lot of confidence, so he's on a high horse right now. He got some good knockouts back to back, you know. So, you know, funny, Tank was in that position at one point, you know, back in his career, but, you know, that's what he said about Ryan Garcia. He just on a little high right now, you know. Kid feeling himself, you know, macho up, knocked out Fonseca, knockout Dono, stop Luke Campbell. So he's feeling good about himself, and that's what you gotta expect. That's what we want in these young guns, man. There's a fine line between arrogance and confidence, you know, ego and confidence. It's a fine line between that. But I would rather my fighters, the fighters of today, play that line on that side, right? Because what you got to think about, if they don't think that they can win, 9 times out of 10 they won't win. So they have to feel that they can beat anybody out there. You know, it has to feel good about Ryan that he got up off that canvas. Tank did talk about the money a little bit in that article. Tank says, I think for sure I should be the guy who gets the most share, he said. I think it should be 60-40 because I have a belt at 135. He don't. He hasn't really proven himself at that weight class yet. Now, it's funny Tank Davis should say that because, yeah, you got a belt, bro. But you fought Yurioka's Gamboa. You know. Now, Tank Davis, in his defense, he did fight Pedraza. And, you know, that was a higher level opponent. Pedraza was undefeated at the time Tank Davis fought him. And, you know, now that fight was a valid fight for Tank Davis. However, what he's saying is Ryan isn't proving at 135. Now, Tank, I correct you, sir, but just fighting the old Gamboa on his way to retirement took you 12 rounds to stop him. Not much room to talk right there. Gotta say that myself. But, of course, this is just what Tank Davis said. And, you know, then he goes on to talk about his sparring with Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. But it's kind of alluding to the fact of why he wants Ryan Garcia, which is still pretty interesting. But Tank Davis says, I touched Teofimo up and played with him. Davis said to the said of their sparring years ago. Years ago, Teofimo was like 17. He said, I actually dropped Devin in sparring. Alright, again, Tank says, I actually stopped. I said drop first time. He says, I actually stopped Devin in sparring. We sparred twice. I stopped him the first time and almost knocked him out the second time. But it was good sparring the second time. But I almost knocked him out. Interesting now. You know, Devin Haney seems to have so many sparring wars you can't keep up. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden now, you got somebody saying that he stopped Devin Haney. Tank Davis. Who you gonna believe? I mean, Tank does have a little stopping power. Devin was a little younger when they sparred, so might not be too far-fetched, you know what I mean? But Tank goes on to say, you know, that it's good for us to mix it up at 135 and may the best man win. I'm all for it, Tank said. I definitely would like to mix it up with Lopez. I definitely think he's on the high horse right now. I think he's supposed to get more percentage than everybody, and nobody know him. Okay, that's what Tank says. Nobody really knows him. He did what he did to win the belts with the decision from Lomachenko on October 22nd. But you still gotta prove it. You gotta keep proving it no matter who you beat. Don't matter if people thought Lomachenko was pound for pound, you still gotta continue to prove it. As for Haney, Davis doesn't have much respect for his resume. And this is what Tank said about that. He said he's the only one of us. He said he's the only of us four who don't fight nobody. He has fought nobody, Davis said. He's the email champion. Who has he fought? He fought a Gamboa that I already stopped. You gotta prove yourself, bro. I had to prove myself when they put me in there in 2017 against unbeaten junior lightweight world titleist Jose Pedraza. And I only had 16 fights. I was still wet behind the ears. I went from fighting 8-rounders to a fight for fighting for my first world title. Pedraza was no slouch. With Devin, he ain't proven himself yet. Can't say Tank don't have a point, man. But what interests me most about this interview was when Tank said, I'm ready to get back in camp now. That's why I came down here to Florida, to stay around the gym and stay around boxing. I want to be active, Davis said. I'm ready to get in camp tomorrow if I could. If I had a date, I would definitely be in Vegas right now training, but I ain't got nothing yet. I'm here to stay in shape and stay around boxing. Keep my mind boxing. Hey man, shout out to my man King Unbiased. And he says, in shape focused Tank Davis is a dangerous Tank Davis. And I agree. Y'all know how I always in this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.
block, make them chop. Pull up to the block and you can shop. What you want to watch out, cause the cops hot. We shoot shots if you see the eye. You can't ball if you ain't got no hustle. I get my grind